Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Hey, today I wanted to talk to you about a very, very important form for many of us, because when we get out of service, a lot of times that's the first time that we're really going to start addressing any of the ailments that we may have that can actually be service related and get compensation for. But the problem is, and you may have ran into this already, prove to the VA that it started during your time in service. And because you didn't run to your medical provider while you were in, you weren't going to your battalion aid station or the battalion aid station or going to your medic or going to your corpsman or whatever and getting this stuff documented, you basically were shooting yourself in the foot, theoretically, right? Or metaphorically. So there is a form that oftentimes will save us and help us create that nexus, the link between your condition that you have today and your time in service. And in some cases, there could be a huge gap in time, and that's okay as long as you can prove that you complained about it or talked about it or what have you during your time in service. So here, what I want you to do is please hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe. I mean, it takes 2 seconds and it doesn't cost you a nickel. So the form, at least for me, when I was getting out, and who knows what it is now. So I was in 2 different times. The first time I was in was I did a 4-year stint with the Marine Corps, and that was 93 to 97. When I got out, I had to dig and find this. And I've talked about this before, this form. In any case, I finally went and looked for it and dug it up. So it is Standard Form 93 is the form. And on this form, there's a bunch of check marks and what have you. And then at the bottom of it is a signature from a medical examiner, right? So this is, in this case, it's a medical record form, and mine says on the top, Report of Medical History. Now, similar to when you join and they're asking you all the questions about your medical history and MEPS or wherever as you're entering into service, this one I signed, October 2nd, 97. October 2nd, 97. I got out October 31st, 97. So this was part of my exit from the military, kind of a final health assessment, and again, report of medical history. It's a 2-page form, okay? 2-page form, and on this form, I'm going to show you here, at least for me, I'll show you a couple different things. So one block here, it says present health. And they basically told you to write this down if you are. I am in fair health and taking no meds at this time. So I actually wrote that down because that's what they told me to write down. However, down here, you will see all those, and you probably can't read it, but at least you could see it. This is lists of different conditions, and yes, no, don't know. So you put check marks wherever it is, right? So I'm going to read a couple of them to you so you can know what they're talking about here. So household contact with someone with tuberculosis, swollen or painful joints, frequent or severe headaches, hay fever or allergies, cramps in your legs, frequent indigestion, right? So it's basically yes, no, not applicable, whatever. There's something here regarding recurrent back pain, right? So you have all of these yeses and nos, and again, on the second page of this, down here at the bottom, which is hard to see, but this is a lieutenant colonel stamp medical examiner, lieutenant colonel, and their signature and the date. So this is a medical document, which is evidence for you. So if you are trying to figure out what you can rightfully claim as a service-connected ailment, condition, disease, injury, whatever, this form can play an important role. You should absolutely order, if you don't have, all of your service treatment records, right? So your service treatment records, anything you have, all of your military records, and start reading through it. Chances are, if you have migraines or you have bad heartburn or even back pain, you may not, or painful swollen joints, you may not have actually went to a doctor to get examined for that while you were in, but you may have done what I did and put it on this this kind of exit physical health assessment, which was signed by a doctor. So that now becomes a piece of evidence. And in the VA's world, they look at evidence in a different way. It doesn't have to be overwhelming in your favor. It just needs to meet the 50-50 threshold. If the evidence supports you, 50-50 for you against you, in other words, if your evidence is in equipoise, equal on both sides, the VA is to rule in your favor. Now, look, the VA will get that wrong, and they'll screw up, and they'll deny you. But when you take it to the court and the Veteran Board of Appeals and a judge looks at it and they see that it's equal, they will rule in your favor if it is in fact equal on both sides. So providing this document to show that you complained about a sign, symptom, condition, whatever it was, you complained about it while you were in service, then if you waited 15 years, 30 years, 20 years, whatever the number is, and you finally got diagnosed for that condition, now combined, you have your proof with the exit health assessment, you have your diagnosis, the health assessment's your nexus. You could show that paperwork to your doctor and say, yeah, I've been complaining about it ever since I was in. See here, can you write a letter for me telling the VA that it is at least likely as not to have manifested during my time in service, or that it is more than likely that it is due to or as a result of, or whatever word you want to use, and have them put that on their letterhead, and that just helps to seal that nexus aspect of your claim. So this form can be instrumental in that, and oftentimes we forget that we even wrote anything down. You tell yourself, nah, I didn't do nothing. Then you look at it and, whoa, I never realized I marked down 4 things that I could actually claim. So make sure that you look at the documents that you have, because there could be crucial evidence in there that you can utilize for your claim. So with that, we'll go ahead and end it there. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.